Okay, so this is the project as you can see right here. Now that was where we got up to last time around in part 1. Now this is part 2 for the recording. Yeah, okay, yes they're on. But I came down to the conclusion that I designed this wrong. So, I was thinking all the mechanisms and everything have got to be inside the outer case. And they just... So what I was thinking is the fact that the door had to be quite thick, so then you could put the mechanisms there, but then the mechanisms would latch onto stuff on the outside, and then you would use the mechanisms on the outside. No, every single thing that you put on the mechanisms has to be in the door. So meaning that this door right here is not big enough. No, it needs to be a lot more bigger. How much bigger? That size? No, not that size. That size. That's how big the door needs to be. So to be able to fit all the mechanisms in and everything, this is how big the door needs to be. And if you put it up against this frame, you come down to the conclusion that it's not big enough. So basically this whole entire frame needs to be scrapped, and even the door needs to be scrapped, because this door, rather than being this size, it actually needs to be this size. And if I put it right behind it, then you can see we've got a lot of work behind us to be able to build what once used to be a door that looks like that big is now a door that is this big. Now obviously you would think, oh, what about if you just make a door that is like using this green base plate board? It's barely anything of a difference. No. Just no, it has to be. It just has to be that one. Which also means that we have to consideration. We have to be building with these base plates instead of trying to build it out of these two base plate boards. Now these are obviously proper base plate Lego boards. You can see I've got 4 of them, so to say the least, we can make this thing massive. Alright. Now I've got to disassemble all this because it's the wrong size. Yeah, it's the wrong size. And then we're going to rebuild it as if it was on one of these blue base plate boards instead of trying to build it all within this grey base plate board, because the situation now is the fact that this is our door. This is our door. Everything behind it will be basically, it will basically be like these pins right here, and then that basically connects onto the pins. But just like, I would say just like so, but it looks like that is not even connecting. Right, let's disassemble all this. I need to build it, rebuild it a load more better. So, yeah. Crazy times. I built this all yesterday and now I have to destroy it. Oh damn. Still need to keep this, but nevertheless, we still need to keep it intact, but nevertheless, everything else can be destroyed. Alright, now using the remaining of the Lego that was built from the walls and the Lego that was built from the actual door itself, let's go ahead and actually build a door that is this big. This big. This is going to be interesting. And it's going to be even bigger than the actual internal locks. This is the internal lock mechanism for the door that I just disassembled. It's going to be even bigger. But bear in mind, we are going to put some motors. We are going to put some motors and stuff like that within the back of this door. So you can imagine that this door has to be quite thick to be able to hold all these motors and stuff like that. So yeah. Alright, let's build a door. Oh, okay, so I got 3 minutes to be able to build a door. What fun that is. I don't know why it stopped recording. Okay, that's the bottom half of the door. Now you kind of just, you know what to see and expect. So here's the top of the door. 3, 2, 1. Okay, just like that, as you can see, we have an upgraded door. Yeah! I might use that for the thumbnail, I might not. The only one problem is that the fact, obviously, I have used these to basically cancel out on some of the bricks, but to say the least, how on earth am I actually going to lock it? Effectively, I've just built a box, effectively. Oh wow, this is very weird. So I have turned on my tablet's camera now instead of recording from there. It's weird. I don't have my other phone out at the moment. I only just have this and the tablet now. But the tablet wasn't really open, to be honest. But anyway, let's do this. Obviously, I can't plug in microphones because it's a tablet compared to phones where they do actually register. I don't feel bad at all, to say the least, to actually disassemble all this because it was my mistake. Okay, so I think we're actually getting somewhere now for this project. So that's for the updated thumbnail. So you can see that we've actually got 2 locking mechanisms. You push that out, it's massive. Push that out, it's massive. And then you can push one back in and then there you go. So that means that these 2 locking mechanisms have got to be within the door itself. Now you can obviously see that there is a little bit of bow. I don't know if you can actually see that, to be honest. There's a bit of a play in both of them is because of the fact I've put in a smooth plate here and here, and then it's actually locked itself into place here and here. But because of the fact that there are 2 studs underneath, it can't actually move about because it's stuck within the wall. But and then when it's like that, you can see that there's studs on the top. That's how you make a locking mechanism for a safe door. Now, to say the least, do you want this to be covered up? And do you actually want to have the pin code and stuff like that on the back? No, of course you don't. So this means that these have got to I got to try and work out some kind of mechanism that can actually push these out and then push them back in using normal Lego motors. Because these are the Lego motors that I'm going to use for this project. I'm not going to go ahead and try and use any other Lego motors to say the least. But however, I might, but to say the least, I'm going to be touching this motor. Now this is a crazy motor, as what I like to call them anyway. So we basically, in a way, I need to try and include this somewhere into the project so then it can spin in both directions. I feel like something's missing where I can use some type of mechanism or gear ratio or something like that, and I can easily just push them out and push them back in. Could use one of these, but I only have one of these. Yeah, I only have one. But this would be the ideal solution, because and then look, you just run it like that and then there you go, simple as that. But I need to find more of them. So I think I'm going to go on a hunt for some. But hang on a minute, I might be onto something. Rather than using these pieces, Lego pieces, which would be way more easier to actually conquest than trying to go ahead and do it all, I actually have these Lego gear rackings. And obviously because of the fact that these are already Lego Technic, I can just place one there, you know. One there, can be placed, and one there. Simple. Okay, so you never believe it, but I have these black gears, not these grey ones here or this one. I have put a black gear in there. You're never going to believe it. It works. This black gear actually works bang on, spot on to what I need, because this little tiny grey gear was, it just needed to be a fraction the size, a little bit more bigger. It just needed to be a little bit more bigger. And then I tried this one because this one is a little bit more smaller. And then I remembered that these black ones are a little bit more smaller. Tried this one, it didn't work. I tried my big one and it works. Okay, so I've come down to the conclusion that both of these don't need to be hooked up to one another. No. And also, if they are hooked up to one another, then that means that it will make it even harder. Now, for now, I've wired it up to just a plain just to one of these motors. This is not a crazy motor, to say the least. No, it's not one of these. So this will have a little bit of torque. I have slowed it down, big gear to small gear. I think that's how you slow it down. I don't know, that might actually be sped up. That's a bit quick. Yeah, I might have sped it up. Yeah, I've sped that up now I think about it. Because generally speaking, why is it moving that quick? Quick, easy solve though. You just reverse it so it's the other way around. I mean, that runs better because it's slowed down, but there's definitely room for improvement.
A few moments later.
Well, that's the end of this video. I know of me trying to go ahead and build a Lego safe, but it looks like we're getting there. Yeah, looks like we're getting there, because if I turn it back on and then 3, 2, 1, you can see it locks itself automatically from a remote, and then there you go. It will unlock itself. So you can lock the thing and you can unlock it by using a remote control, and I've actually designed it the right way this time around. By simply just using 2 motors at the back. Nevertheless, the battery doesn't really need to be inside it, because the actual back of the case, because bear in mind it has a wire, and I've stuck in this on the edge because this is basically where the hinge is going to go. And then the next time around anyway, though, I'm going to start to build the hinge for this project, and also the actual box to house it, because nevertheless, how on earth is this actually going to, generally speaking, how's it going to lock itself at the moment? Because these can extend outwards, and these would basically pin itself. Like, that's not going to go anywhere, that's not going to go anywhere, and then all of a sudden you can just erase it so there are none. But if you want to lock it, there you go, you can lock it, then they ain't going to move. But then you can already just see that you can easily unlock it like that. That's the good thing about this project at the moment, in that is the fact that you can actually lock it and unlock it with a remote control. Yeah, with a remote control, because say to the least, having it like this so much easier, because I can actually mount this on the actual side of the case or something like that. So then you can actually press the buttons to actually unlock it. And I wouldn't actually mount it like this. No, I would actually mount it like this. So then you actually have to get your butt So then that means you actually had to put your finger in there, and then that means that you can't really lock it, to be honest. But there you go, unlocked. So then it basically works like a button where you would push down on here, push down on here. There you go, and then that won't go anywhere once it's inside its case. But once you press those buttons, that will go somewhere. Let me turn that back off now. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I know about building the Lego safe part 2. Now stick around for this project, as this project is only getting started. Because next time around we're going to be working on the box that actually makes this mechanism work properly. So the point being where once you unlock it, you can easily pull it out and everything, but once you lock it, that's it. You won't be able to get the door open until you actually unlock it. Subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye now.